Hi friends, it's Julia. I am here to do a layout share for the first 7 days of the 30 Days of Sketches with Christy's Beautiful Life round 10. Now this time each of the sketches was curated by whatever designer created them specifically for this challenge. So the first one, let me go ahead and start here. Now I have used a combination of two separate kits up to this point. I used my October 2022 Counterfeit Kit Challenge Kit, and I also used my February 2022 Counterfeit Kit Challenge Kit. Both of these are very large kits. I'm still working through my February kit, but I wanted to get done with my October one, and I've killed it, y'all. So stay tuned. You'll see that kit series at the end of the month. Plus you'll have a full layout share at, I think I've got it scheduled for the 1st of next month. Maybe? I don't remember now. But anyway, the first 7 sketches. The first day, the sketch was by Jessica Michaels. And you can see, here is the sketch. And it's got those stars, and it's got some mixed media. It's got 2 photos. Yeah, I didn't do that. I did something totally different. But if you look at the sketch and then you look at this one, you can see it has some of the same feels. And I think Christy has alluded to that multiple times. And so have I throughout, you know, the course of doing this. Really, any challenge that you start off with a sketch, take that sketch and make it your own. If you want to follow it exactly to a T, follow it exactly to a T. But if you want to stretch yourself and create something that has a similar feel yet different, it's kind of like the Counterfeit Kit Challenge Club. You know, you start off with a kit that someone has curated for an actual kit club or whatever. And then you go digging through your stash. You look for the same feels, not necessarily the exact same paper. If you have them, great, work off that, start something from there. But if you don't, find something similar or something with the same feels. And so that's what this challenge is doing for me. I don't necessarily look to always do the sketch exactly as it is. A lot of times if I am crunched for time, then yes, I do follow exactly. But here on this one you can see I don't have a process video for this one, so this is all you're going to get as far as talking about it. The background had mixed media, so I started off with this paper from my Counterfeit Kit Challenge Kit that had a more distressed, almost mixed media feel to it already. I threw in some washi tape samples, washi tape strips. I threw in some pattern paper back behind the photo. And then I mounted it on a separate sheet of cardstock and then added in all of my clusters. I have 2 major clusters here, and this is kind of a 3rd cluster down here where my journaling and this is. Yeah, and I was able to pull this all together, and it's a story. When you look at it, you go, oh, that's busy. And it is, and it's about scrapbooking, and that's what scrapbooking is, right? It's a busy hobby. We have lots of supplies, lots of embellishments. And I will try and remember to put close-ups of all of these photos at the end. I won't do detailed close-ups, but I will do close-ups. And I love that I was able to get my new film strips in here. Those are something that I just recently picked up, and I love, love, love those. Same with these Tim Holtz embellishments. I love those as well. So this is sketch number 1, and it is completed. Sketch number 2 is by Maggie Blethen. And y'all, I'm sorry if I'm butchering your names, but here is the sketch, and you can see 2 photos, clusters at the top and bottom, and then wonky squares. So I started off by, okay, I'm going to do the wonky squares just with the pattern paper in the background, but it wasn't enough. So I got out some super skinny washi tape and used that to go around. I like that. My only problem now is the wonky paper in the background is really bothering me, but it's okay. It's going in the album. I'm not going to look at it. And so this one, I used what I had in the kit, and then I think I pulled in this extra brown paper. I didn't have anything quite that color in there. I think that's an old, I don't remember now. But anywho, I added it in to give me some additional texture and separation between the 2 color families, or the yellow and cream and the cream background. They're close color families, so I needed a little bit of differentiation. Then I took some dark brown and cream around the photos and then threw that pink in there where I could. It's almost a lavendery pink, pinkish purple, if you will. So I went through, I added some flowers again. I added some here and here. These are washi tape butterflies. So if you have a, like currently I have, if you are short on embellishments but you have washi tape that has images on it, like this one has floral images. Now this one might be kind of hard to fussy cut, but it's doable. If you take it, because it is sheer and not completely opaque, if you take that and put it on a solid like cream color or white background, or even a craft background, you're going to see the images fairly well, and then you can just go around there, and it doesn't have to be fine-tuned fussy cutting. It can just be general fussy cutting, or gross, if you will, fussy cutting, and create your own embellishments. You don't have to have tons of butterflies. Use what you have, or create your own embellishments to make your kits go farther. And I think that's one thing that I love about creating with kits. When I pull all of my stuff together, I don't necessarily make page kits, individual page kits, because I feel like I'm too limited. So I pull all of my paper and all the embellishments that I think I might need into one kit, and then scrap out of that as I go along. And it's less limiting to me, and I have more options for each page. And then if I want to pull something in from the rest of my stash, absolutely, I'm all for it. I don't restrict myself to use solely what is in the kit, unless that is the, I guess I could take that out so you could see, unless that is the purpose of whatever I'm doing. If I am making a kit to use solely for that purpose, with only what I have there, then okay, that's what I'm going to do. But more often than not, I'm going to do it like I do it. You know, just generalize and use. So layout number 3 is from Sandra Lee. It is here. And you can see, well, I don't know if you can see it so well in here, but if you head over to Christy's Beautiful Life Facebook group, she will have all the images uploaded there, along with everybody's work who's been posting. But there's multiple sheets of paper, and there's tons of opportunity to change up that sketch and make it what you want. This one I followed nearly to a T, the sketch. So the other two were similar. This one is like right on the money. I changed my clusters around a little bit. Instead of having a cluster here and a cluster here, I changed it because I went with a little bit bigger photos, or a bigger photo here. So I gave myself 3 clusters, and I like it really well. It works for me. Now with this one, I went through and I did that Mercy Tiara thing that she taught us all to do, this faux stitching or line making around the edge of the paper with just a Sharpie pen, and I think it pulls it in. This paper in the background, this plaid color paper, is actually a, maybe it was a Little Yellow Bicycle. There was one that I pulled in from them. Maybe that's what this one was. Anywho, so I pulled it in because this one needed something to ground it, and the lines weren't enough. So I added in my 3 papers in the background here, and then I added some additional texture with this canvas background here behind my photos. That canvas paper that I had. And you can see, I even used some washi tape here in the background as part of my layout. It went across the middle. So instead of using another paper scrap, I just used washi tape. And that's something you can do differently as well. But you can see, I took a flourish, an old flourish piece that I had, I cut it into bits, and I used a little bit on each cluster. And I love how that turned out. I used my flat back pearls and those embellishments from Tim Holtz. I actually cut some of them down because I didn't like how that fit too much over here when I put them next to it. So I cut off a piece and I put it over here and then there. And then same with here. I cut off part of it to go under here, and same with here. This piece and this piece are actually one. I just cut them apart and made them work. And then of course the bows that I added, and I added one to each little cluster there. And so I love how this one turned out. Of course, I do that on all of mine. Very few do I ever create that I'm not 100% in love with them. Next up is layout number 4. This is again the same kit of paper from October 2022. And for this one, I was kind of following along with the Jenny Linguini Rainbow, I think it's Rainbow Color Story. I forget what she calls it, but for the month of October, it was silver or gray. And so I thought, oh, I have this sheet of paper with these silver frames in it, and I really want to get those used up, but I need something to ground this layout with some more silver. So I started to pull in just a dark sheet of paper because I had this flocking on here that was dark, and I thought, no, I need to add something else. And so I added in, I took this stripe paper and just cut it off into strips and then just mitered the corners at each corner so that it all, you have stripes coming out in every direction instead of having a solid strip across one edge. But you can see with the sketch itself, it had, oh sorry, this one is by Cheryl Ashcraft. Here's the sketch, and it had all these chevrons in the background. It wasn't going to work for me. And so what I ended up doing was I took a paper that had all this flocking leaves in the background. The flocking leaves were in the background. Anywho, so then I took my silver frames and I put all behind it. The sketch started off as an inspiration to me, and I went completely off the board with it, y'all, by putting the silver frames around, by putting the border on it, and then the clusters where I have them, I think were the same as what she had. So cluster here and cluster here. And instead of putting like paint splatters down, I used gemstones everywhere on this layout. There's tons of flat back pearls and gemstones. You can catch them every which way. But on each of these silver frames, I took some rub-ons and I decorated. There's some bling along here. I know it's kind of hard to see in some of these images. This one has another rub-on with some bling. This one has a circle rub-on, and then I put another bling on the inside. That is a moth from the Tim Holtz collection, and then down here is my actual title, and it says New Babies, and there's actually a rub-on on there. More clustered up flowers here, and these are actually my washi tape flowers. I did not pull these from the Tim Holtz collection that I had, but from the washi tape that I had that had the roses all over them. I just put it on cream color cardstock and then fussy cut around them. More rub-on, and then blings all over the place. More rub-ons and blings. Another moth up here, and a bow, and a bow because they were silver. And where else was I going to use the silver bows, right? So this worked for me. And again, I love how this one turned out. For layout number 5, it was by Lisa Sikorsky. I think that's how you say her name. But you can see a central design with multiple paper layers in the background. And by gosh, I followed it almost to a letter as far as the background goes. My embellishment clusters are, instead of having a full-on cluster, I guess it is. I guess the cluster is here and then the journaling is here. I followed that. The only difference is I put my tag over here, and I don't think that had it. I was thinking there was another embellishment cluster because it's got its identifier over here on the side, and it looks like maybe it starts to be a cluster. So anywho, I took all of my pattern paper and I put it in the background. And because by the time I did this one, and I did my layouts completely out of order, y'all, I only had scraps of paper left for this one. So I pulled in my scraps, and then I pulled these two pieces, the craft and then the blue piece, from my stash. And so that's what I built my layout on. On here, I mixed up some butterflies from Cheeky Studio. I used more of the washi tape flowers. I used some ribbon. I used some labels. I was able to use a really old font for my title. How many of you guys still have this with the Scrabble tile look in your stash? Get it out, play with it, use it before it completely goes bad on you. There's no adhesive left on that. Most of it's already gone. And can you see how much bling I put up on that one? all that shimmy shine up there. Same with that one, tons of bling. I actually used some scrap pieces down here just to create some banners. And then this tag was one that I received in a swap, and because it had an orange flower on it and some bold green leaves, I didn't want those on there. I wanted to be able to see the tag, the bulk of it, because this embossing on here and the watercolor background is too fabulous to cover up. And I almost didn't use it here to put my journaling here because I didn't want to cover it up, but I was able to get a lot shown there. So I'm happy with how that one turned out. But if you get something in a swap or as a gift from someone and you don't like how it looks, take it apart, change it up, make it your own so that it fits your scrapbooking style. So layout number 6 was from Alicia Lawrence, and you can see hers was a 2-photo sketch with triangle cut papers on either side and embellishment clusters at the top and bottom. Her title was at the top and her journaling was at the bottom. I sort of followed it. So if you look at mine, it has a similar feel. It's got these embellishment clusters at the top and the bottom instead of the triangle cut papers. Because the paper that I pulled in for my February 2022 kit, it was a collection from Recollections called Fantasy Floral. Anyway, it had flowers on the paper. And let me see if I can find a sheet for you to show you what I'm talking about. Like, see what I mean? There's already flowers on the paper. So the one that I chose just happened to have flowers on the 2 corners, opposite corners here. So I just built up a few more pieces that I cut out. I took some paper that had flower clusters all over it and I fussy cut those out and added to here. And then I built up from there. I still have layers of paper in the background. I still have my title up here. I still have my journaling down here, but it has a similar feel and I'm still using 2 photos. They're not vertical like or portrait like they are in the sketch, but this style works for me and the photos that I had and the story that I wanted to tell. So you can see there's my title, there's my date, and I used a little piece of chipboard right there from the stash that I had in the collection. And then I have enamel dots and I have sequins here, but you can see I have these cut aparts. I have some die cuts. I just lifted that up on some foam adhesive to create layers. And then my journaling is down here with a few more with an acetate piece and also a few more sequins and enamel dots. But there's layout number 6. Layout number 7, again, is made with the February 2022 collection. And this one was by Karen Leahy. Is that how you say that? Karen Leahy. And it has one photo with a cluster down the side. And then it looks like a couple of embellishment clusters over here. Well, you know, I did my own thing. I followed it similarly in that I put my photo down with some clustering behind it, and the paper actually had flowers on either side here and here. So I took the flowers. This was one of the cut apart pieces from this collection, as was this. I layered them up. This was another cut apart piece. I layered all that up and created my photo here. And then I put a little bit of a cluster here, a little bit of a cluster here, and then some clustering down here around my title. Or sorry, my journaling here. And so here down at the bottom, I just used my washi tape strips to create some banners at the bottom. Nothing fancy. That's a wood veneer piece that I have in here, and I just took some ink and I colored it in because I had so many little pops of green in the leaves, and in this piece more leaves, and then more leaves up here, and then greens in and around here. I wanted to color that in, and I actually used 2 different inks to give it a green and almost yellow feel. So love how this one turned out. I say that on them all, y'all, because I do. I really love, and the title is Sweetie, and my journaling says it is my grandma name. My grandkids call me Sweetie. Anywho, so here is layout 7. And this is from the February kit. So far I've created 2 layouts from my February kit in the first 7 days, and I've created 5 from my October 2022 Counterfeit Kit. I will have all of these listed on my October 2022 playlist on my YouTube channel or on the Counterfeit Kit CKC playlist that I have on my YouTube channel. So if you want to see more detail on these, I will have the close-ups of the layout, not necessarily the detail shots that I try to put on my process videos, but I will have each layout, so if you want to pause and get a closer look, feel free. I will also be posting these to Christy's Beautiful Life 30 Days of Sketches Facebook group. I will post them under each day's challenge there. So if you want to go through and find them on there, feel free. Anytime you guys stop in and thumbs up my layouts, I love that so much. I will also be posting the ones that I created for my Counterfeit Kit Challenge on the Counterfeit Kit Challenge Facebook group, because this month every layout that is posted, or every project that is posted, whether it's a card, your kit, when you created your kit, or a page, whether it be a 6x6, an 8x8, an 8.5 by 11, a 12 by 12, whatever size, it doesn't matter. If you post it to the group this month, then you get entered to win a prize from them. And I'm not sure what it is, but you know, I think it's in conjunction with the actual sponsor of their, or the inspiration for their kit this month. Sure, head over there and find out the details for sure over there. Anyway guys, I appreciate you being here. Don't forget, I'll have the layouts at the end. Don't forget to flip me a thumbs up too. I will see you guys on the next video. Have a great day everyone. Bye bye.